Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. And if you enjoy the fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic.
What if Naruto was trained by the legendary blade and won the hearts of every beautiful Kunoichi? Chapter 2. Night Naruto's eyes popped open as the midnight hour passed. He silently made a cage bunshin discreetly and silently made his way out of the house. Then in the forest, he suited up with kunai, iPod, shuriken, explosives, a bow with some quivers, and lastly his sword. He left his trenchcoat at home to help with the reinforced copy and the fact that it may hinder him in battle. Ready, Yumi said. Naruto answered, "Hi, let's welcome chaos." Hideout Naruto reached the tree house and saw 4 sentries covering each compass point, 3 guards each. Naruto took out the bow and notched 3 arrows. He fired and the 3 arrows embedded themselves in one of the vital points. The bodies silently crumpled to the ground and Naruto then had Kage Bunshin hide them and kill the others. Once the outside sentries were taken care of, he slipped inside the hallways and saw a group of henchmen laughing and drinking in a room. He pulled out a smoke bomb that had a delayed mechanism and rolled it in. As the smoke filled the room, Naruto leapt in and literally beat the living shit out of them, breaking bones in the process. When the smoke cleared, only Naruto coldly walked out, but not without setting a poison fog bomb in the room and jammed every window and door, making that every possible escape was utterly destroyed. As he moved further down the corridor, there were 3 pathways before him. To save time, he made 2 Kage Bunshin to go down and set the explosives down the corridors. Then he himself tried to sense Kurenai or Hinata's chakra signatures. It was faint, but he could feel that it was 3 stories above him. That means that the next floor, I'll meet Zabuza and Haku possibly. Naruto thought. Then he felt the information rushing into his brain from his clones. Good, Naruto muttered. The explosives are in place just near the base. Soon Gato's base of operations will be destroyed. Naruto walked down the middle hallway and soon found Haku and Zabuza. "Hello, Haku, and you must be Zabuza," Naruto said. Zabuza retorted, "So you are the one who figured out Haku, You are a little short." Naruto replied, "Perhaps, but looks can be so deceived since 2 of my friends put you in your previous condition." Zabuza's eye twitched at the insinuation. "Well, then what is the situation, Haku?" Haku answered, "They happened to be on the next floor in the samurai henchmen that were disposed of. I knew that Slimeball wasn't going to pay us." Naruto raised an eyebrow. "I am guessing you listen in on his conservation, right?" Haku confirmed with a nod. "Then you are right. As soon as you destroyed Tazuna, he would have killed once he had that power." Zabuza asked, "So why are we still here? The contract has been voided." Naruto smiled. "Don't worry, you will still get paid along with my payment as well." Zabuza said, "Oh, and how do we propose to do that?" Naruto said, "I will use my A-rank mission payment to pay you along with my savings." Zabuza said, "Fair enough, but why should I listen to you?" Naruto said, "I happen to place explosives on the base and middle of the tree. I have the detonator and could destroy this place." Zabuza said, "Wow, you really thought this out, huh, Gaki?" "I thought I was crazy." Naruto nodded. Yeah, no time to talk about insanity. Kurenai and Hinata's lives are at stake. Let her go, you cowardly snake." Kurenai shouted at a mercenary holding the weakened Hinata. Another merc slapped her with a crack. "Urusai." He growled, "You are lucky that Gato needs you for his damn ritual, or we would do something far worse to you." Kurenai became disgusted at him as the mercenary copped a feel. Gato dressed in his business suit approached them. "Good, just in time. Bring them to the altar now, we must have the timing exact." The mercenaries strapped both Kunoichi to a table and stepped back. Gato began to chant in an ancient language. Kurenai struggled against her bonds feebly. "Damn it, I can't break free. Even though my chakra is returning slowly, I can't break these bonds." she thought to herself as Gato ominously came closer and closer with a gleaming knife. Gato finished and struck downwards to stab Kurenai's thigh. The genjutsu mistress tried to hold in her scream, but to no avail as her precious blood flowed down the table. Then he strode out toward Hinata. Kurenai tried to protest, but the pain from her fresh wound and her chakra depletion forced her to watch as Gato stabbed Hinata in her thigh also, causing Hinata to scream in pain, but Gato knocked her out again to silence her. "You bastard! I will kill you for this!" Kurenai shouted feebly. Gato then took her and Hinata's blood and drank it. Suddenly the moon turned to a pale red and lightning struck down to the room, striking Gato and the two mercenaries. Gato survived the blast and began to undergo a change so gruesome to watch as his muscles and bone structure cracked and contorted to change completely into a vile monster. Quote! Gato laughed. "Hey, Naruto, maybe you should hack into Gato's computer to get his money," Yumi suggested. Naruto nodded and sent a cage bunshin into the room. "Okay, this is it. I sense about 40, maybe 50 mercenaries. Thanks to the poison gas and explosives, I must have terminated about half of his force, and since Zabuza and Haku dispatched those two wannabe samurai and the rest lurking around, these must be the last ones here. Damn it, they never make things easy. Every boss always has 100 or more expendable goons to slow people down," Naruto thought. Yumi replied, "How about we give them a warm welcome, by snapping their necks?" Naruto, in agreement, kicked the door open and said, "Hiya, fellas." The Jinchuriki slowly walked forward until he was in the middle of the crowd and a tall, muscular man came in front of him. "I don't know who the hell you are, but you made a big mistake and you aren't leaving this place alive." The man tried to stab him, but the new daywalker sent a palm strike to the chin, grabbed his speak and sunk the tip into his gut. The mercenaries took a few minutes to comprehend the event and began to swarm Naruto. Naruto back-kicked one and used the momentum to kick another in front of him using the same leg. Then he used the spear as a pole and swung around it, kicking in a circular motion, and then he brought the spear up to slash downwards, discarding the corpse still clinging on the spear at a nearby group. Next, he threw the spear, which pinned someone's head to the wall, making bits of skull, brain, and blood spattered over the porcelain wall. "This should be fun," Naruto said as he pressed play on his portable boom box. New Order Confusion plays. If you have watched Blade, it is the song in the first movie where Blade crashed the vampire rave party. Naruto gave a merc a solid kick to the chest, caving in his ribs into his vital organs, and then he grabbed the dead body and flung into a group forming behind him. Soon a sword strike cut Naruto's cheek and another cut into his back. Naruto gritted his teeth in pain to retaliate with a savage palm thrust to the head. A merc equipped with a rusty knife tried to shank him in his blind spot, but fortunately Naruto was groomed to sense people around him and pivoted on his heel to maneuver out of harm's way. The Jinchuriki took the merc's own arm to make his stab himself in the kidney. "Kage Bunshin no Jutsu," Naruto growled. 15 clones appeared and proceeded to maim or kill the mercenaries with gusto. Soon screams of pain filled the room as soon as Naruto unsheathed their blades, quickly and efficiently killing and separating body parts. Soon his clones were dispatched and 10 highly scarred mercenaries were left before Naruto. "Please let us go," said one to the Jinchuriki. The boy, no, man shook his head. "Your lives are forfeit. I know the kind of people you are. You rape, pillage, steal and kill innocents for fun, pleasure or money. You will never be able to harm people this way. Come, meet your executioner, your Shinigami." The 10 men looked at each other and charged at him, hanging on to the last shred of hope that they would emerge victorious. Naruto slipped into his stance and blocked a spear thrust from one and punched another. Then he sliced one's neck with his sword and kicked the mercenary who vouched for his fellow money-grubbing thieves' lives. Next, he moved left, elbowing one in the ribs, then stabbed the point of his blade into the area of the collarbone. Then he grabbed a fleeing mercenary by the neck and with a quick pinching motion, he crushed his windpipe with an audible snap. Naruto gave the remaining 5 a smile as he threw 2 of his glaives at them, giving them a new way to breathe in their necks, and blood spattered in a mist-like motion. Good, now there is assurance that nobody will interfere with this. Now to save my friends. Yumi, are you ready? Yumi joked. Red 5, standing by. Let's kick this guy's punk ass. Naruto ran into the room, see a bleeding Kurenai and Hinata with a morphing Gato. Naruto discreetly made a cage bunshin and carried the both of them out of the room. Kurenai's eyes widened in surprise at the appearance of Naruto, who silently put a finger to his lips. Soon he met up with Zabuza and Haku. Kurenai spoke, Naruto, what are you doing here? Where are the others? Why isn't Zabuza attacking? Naruto dressed her wounded thigh. I came here to rescue you. Everyone else is asleep and I told Zabuza of Gato's plan to kill him after he killed Tazuna, so his contract is void and he will be joining us for the evening. Kurenai said. Then you? Naruto stared at her intently. I did what I had to do, plus they would have done countless things to you too. Kurenai then retorted, but you should have alerted Kakashi. Why did you tell him about this meeting? Naruto mused, because if I know Kakashi, he wouldn't listen to me, especially since my tenant told me about this blood ritual. I'm pretty sure that he holds some resentment against it and will tell me not to listen to it. After all, his sensei, the Yondaime, did die fighting it, right? The Ice Queen thought to herself. Kakashi and Yondaime-sama were close after Obito died in Rin's disappearance, wink wink, nudge nudge, he would hold some kind of resentment to the Kyuubi. Naruto finished and used the rest of the sterile bandages to tie around Hinata's thigh. Now Zabuza, Haku, your new assignment is to take Kurenai-sensei and Hinata out of here. I'm going to stop Gato. Kurenai's ruby eyes widened at his order. What? No, you can't stop Gato all by yourself, you will be killed. Naruto looked at her. You or Hinata-san are in no condition to fight, but your wound is worse than Hinata's. Plus I am not going to risk Zabuza and Haku's lives when I am fully capable of risking mine. Remember, I have an inner power. Kurenai said. No, Naruto, I will not let you throw away your life like this. Naruto argued, and why not? Kurenai struggled to find an answer while she thought, because Hinata would die if she found out that I could not stop you. Naruto continued, look, Kurenai-sensei, Gato has superhuman strength due to the ritual. With my high pain tolerance level and an incredible healing factor, I am the most capable to defeat him. If I don't kill him now, Wave will be destroyed and soon he will try to conquer the other countries. Kurenai protested, but I can't let you do that, it would break Hinata's heart to find out someone died for her sake. Naruto said softly, checking his inventory, then it is best that she forgot about me. Kurenai yelled, Naruto, I am ordering you to stand. Naruto suddenly slammed his fist into her solar plexus, knocking her unconscious, then he turned to Zabuza and Haku. I was wondering when you were gonna shut her up. Zabuza said. Naruto said, you get these two and yourselves the hell out of here. When you are 5 meters away from here, wake up Kurenai or Hinata to escort you to Tazuna's house, alright? The ex-Mist Nin nodded and shunshined away from the premises. Little did they know that Hinata was awake during the whole conservation. Here we go, Naruto thought as he turned toward the doors and kicked them open to the new Gato. Gato's business clothes were rags and luckily a tattered amount covered his nether regions. Gato grew from 4 feet 1 inch to 5 feet 8 inches and had bulging muscles. Who the hell are you? Where is Zabuza? Gato demanded. Naruto answered, he is gone and me, I am your executioner. Gato scoffed, ha, like you can defeat me now. Now I am stronger than ever, I will rule Wave with an iron fist. Gato made the first move by charging in with his newfound speed. Shit, Naruto thought, he is fast and strong since he completed that damn ritual, I gotta be careful around him. One fatal mistake and it will be the end of me. Gato laughed crazily, ha 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 ha. What marvelous power, nobody has the power to defeat me. Gato threw a punch, but Naruto under his arm and sent a hit to his chest. Gato smirked as he took it without a wince. My turn. Naruto was sent crashing into a wall. Ow, that fucking hurt. Let's see how he responds to a chakra-infused fist now. Naruto winced as he pulled himself from the wall. Naruto's eyes widened as Gato suddenly appeared in front of him and kicked him across the room. Then the tyrant moved quickly to grab the back of Naruto's head and dragged his face against the floor to heave him across the room. Naruto got up, coughing up blood. I need a distraction. The Jinchuriki brought up his hands to form his favorite hand sign and shouted, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. 20 clones appeared and attacked Gato, distracting the tycoon enough for the real Naruto to release his weights. Time to break his neck. Yumi shouted, let's show him what we can do. Here Comes the Boom by Nelly plays. As the last clone was destroyed, Naruto hit Gato with a chakra-infused kick, making Gato stumble back, but he did not stop there. Naruto rushed in and punched Gato in his stomach, then another one to the chin, causing Gato's head to snap back up. Naruto followed up with a roundhouse punch and a strong right hook to the head, making Gato crash into a nearby wall. Gato pushed himself out of the crater and felt something wet covering the left side of his face. He slowly raised his shaking hand to feel it and put it in front of his eyes to see blood. No, I'm invincible, I am stronger than this, I can't be defeated, especially by a short, pathetic weakling. The man howled. Naruto chose the time to smirk. Well, this short, pathetic weakling hacked your bank accounts, killed all of your mercenaries and sold all of your stocks. Gato paled. You're bluffing. Naruto's smirk widened even further. Your account number 8006-6696-4678. Gato's fears were confirmed as Naruto continued, face it, even if you manage to kill me, you have to start over from scratch and you will never get your account back since I transferred them to mine. Gato smirked, then I just subdue you and have Zabuza torture those 2 female friends of yours. Naruto smirked wide, picture Jin's creepy smile. Insert shudder, I figured you would try to do that, which is why I outbidded your contract to kill Tazuna and hired him to protect Kurenai, Hinata and Tazuna lest I am defeated. Gato roared in rage as he picked up a mercenary's katana and charged recklessly at his opponent. Naruto instantly unsheathed his own to clash against Gato's wild strike. The 2 adversaries traded blow after blow, Gato with his speed and power against Naruto with years of experience and youth. Soon Naruto gained the upper hand and disarmed him effectively. It's over. Zabuza and Haku, the 2 mist ninjas, both carrying Kurenai and Hinata respectively, decided to rest a bit from fatigue. Haku, if your new friend actually pulls this thing off, we're going to Konoha to enlist. Haku raised his eyebrow. Why is that, Zabuza-sama? Zabuza responded with a shrug, to be honest, I have no clue. It's like someone is implanting these words in my mouth, and plus I have a feeling that boy is going to be great someday, including the fact that I kinda considered you like my own son. Haku said, Zabuza-sama. Zabuza said, anyway we gotta keep it moving. The 2 Nukenins walked back and started to grab Kurenai and Hinata, but when Haku went to grab Hinata, he fell through her body. Shit, a Bunshin, that damn girl. Zabuza cursed. Haku said, she must have used Kawarimi and sent more chakra to retain the clone's solid form, she must be here somewhere. But then he paled. Zabuza-sama, I believe we are in deep shit, very deep shit. Zabuza knew instantly from experience when Haku cursed, he was serious, pissed or scared. What's the matter, Haku? The ex-Jonin asked his apprentice. Haku answered, what if she heard our conservation and went back to the hideout? Oh, fuck me, Zabuza shouted as he grabbed Kurenai and ran back with Haku. Naruto, give up, Gato. Naruto said. Gato was about to plead for his life and admit defeat until he noticed movement over by the door. Before Naruto could comprehend Gato's actions, the man moved quickly and caught the figure. The figure was, I could have been and as in left you hanging, but I am going to continue, Hinata. Naruto shouted. Gato shouted with an evil sneer, drop your weapon or the girl dies. Naruto narrowed his eyes, You despicable coward. Gato tightened his grip on Hinata's neck and arm. Do it. He hissed out. Naruto took his sword and threw it aside. Now let her go. Gato gave him a sickening smile as he said, as you wish. Then he carelessly tossed her away heavily into a wall. Hinata. Naruto shouted as he rushed to her side. He quickly felt for a pulse. He waited and waited. No, this can't be the end. Naruto thought. Suddenly Naruto opened his eyes as he felt it. There was a weak pulse in her. She is okay. That bastard is gonna pay. Yumi called. Naruto. But Naruto didn't hear her cry. You bastard, you almost killed her. He shouted, holding the Hyuga heiress unconscious form. Gato laughed. So what? I'll kill her when I am done or make her personal slave. Naruto snapped at that moment as soon as the words left his mouth. I know that this motherfucker just did not say what I think he said. That's it, I am killing this petty excuse of a motherfucker. Naruto thought. He clenched his fists and Gato stopped laughing to see red chakra seeping out of Naruto's body. That is it, I have had it. You're going to die by my own two hands. Zombie Autopilot by Unearth Plays. Gato looked in horror to see the malicious chakra gathered above Naruto to form a fox's head. Naruto lifted his head to show his broadened whiskers, then removed his shades to reveal blood-red slitted eyes. Here I come. Naruto flexed his claws. Luckily his gloves were made to withstand his pointed appendages. Gato whimpered under the gaze of Naruto. What are you? He asked in horror. To my friends, I am Naruto Uzumaki, but to you and my enemies, I am Blade, the Daywalker. Naruto flashed to brutally kick Gato's ass. The possessed Jinchuriki sent a clawed hand to smack Gato. Gato flew across the room only for Naruto to axe kick his chest, making Gato to fall to the floor, coughing up blood. Next, Naruto kicked him, making the tyrant roll. Gato feebly tried to crawl away, but Naruto grabbed his ankle and wagged his finger. Ah, 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 ah. I am not done with you yet, get back here. Naruto threw to the floor and began to kick him savagely in the ribs, then with a loud roar, he kicked Gato clear into the air. That was the best move in Blade's final battle in Part 1. As Gato struggled to get up, Naruto sent every hook, uppercut, and haymaker into Gato's face, chest and abdomen, making the business tycoon falter and become a walking bloody pulp. Then Naruto grabbed Gato's arm and released his killing intent combined with Kyuubi's chakra, making Gato become rooted to the spot. Naruto spoke. Normally if I would be in this state, I would have killed you now, but I want to try out a move and someone is inputting this move in my mind. Burning Gundam theme plays. Naruto's fist clenched to be surrounded by a mix of purple and blood-red chakra. This fist of mine glows with a demonic power, its malicious roar tells me to crush you. Gato's eyes widened. Wait, stop. He shouted, but his cry fell upon deaf eyes. Here I go. Nensho. Kuroi, Ken. Naruto shouted as he sent his attack straight to Gato's face, blasting him with his blast of purple and red aura. His body felt straight to impale itself on a spike on the wall. Naruto panted in exertion as the chakra receded back into his body. Yumi commented, note to self, never ever hurt Naruto's friends, he'll kill you. That was an awesome attack you made up though. Naruto said, glad you enjoyed yourself, sensei. Yumi said, go check up on Hinata, she should be awake since you made all of that noise. Naruto picked up his sword and then moved slowly toward Hinata and knelt beside her. Are you okay, Hinata? Hinata grimaced with pain. My shoulder, it's dislocated. Recognize this scene. Naruto gripped her arm and felt the area. Okay, Hinata, I'm going to need you to scream, so your mind is not focused on the pain. Hinata nodded. Alright. Naruto took her arm and with a quick motion, he put it back in place making Hinata scream in pain. Okay, now we better Naruto started to say until Hinata suddenly moved to attack him. Smack. Naruto's eyes widened as he turned to see Hinata's palm resting on Gato's chest just above his heart. Apparently Gato survived the Nensho Kuroiken and pulled himself out of the spike to try to kill Naruto. She saved me, Naruto thought. Gato backed up a few steps until he keeled over, then he was dead for sure. Thank you, Hinata, Naruto said. Hinata didn't hear him, but looked at her hand as the realization of her first kill. IIK killed him. The Hyuga squeaked. Oh, crap, she gonna have a mental breakdown. Naruto thought, what to do, what to do. Yumi shouted, idiot, comfort her, damn it. Naruto wrapped his arms around her. Hinata, there was nothing you could do to avoid it, you saved my life by reacting like you did. Hinata said, but Naruto said, tell me, Hinata, would you want me lying there instead of Gato? Hinata said, no, Naruto said, then you have nothing to be ashamed of, now let's go. Naruto took Gato's head and sealed before he picked Hinata bridal style, causing her to blush heavily. She's blushing, wait a minute, blushing, she likes me. Well, at least I caught it now. I mean, I could be a bumbling idiot and don't notice for 4 years. As soon as they walked out, Naruto took out the detonation device and pressed the button. Gato's base of operations was destroyed, and the cool thing about it is that Naruto and Hinata never look back. Reason by Nami Tamaki, or is it Tamaki Nami plays, the two meet up with Zabuza and Haku with the still knocked out Kurenai. You beat him? Zabuza asked. Naruto replied, I didn't. Then he inclined his head to the sleeping form of Hinata. She killed him. Zabuza raised an eyebrow. Really? She looks like someone who would not hurt a flea. Naruto said, that she is, Zabuza, that she is. Now let's get to Tazuna's house before I passed out. Everyone at Tazuna's house woke up to the sound of birds and the sunshine that threatened to pierce the blinds. Team 7 and 8, along with Tazuna and Inari, came out of their rooms. Damn, Tsunami must be cooking something good. Tazuna commented. Kakashi nodded in agreement. I agree, she must be very chipper today, I wonder why. Team 7, 8, and Inari agreed with Kakashi's statement, but then suddenly a door opened up to reveal Tsunami rubbing her eyes. Good morning, everyone, she said. Everyone gaped at her. Wait a second, if you're here, then who is in the kitchen? The ninja and civilians rushed downstairs to meet a shocking surprise. Each of them saw Zabuza and an unknown boy sitting at the table along with a smiling Hinata and Kurenai, and most of all, Naruto cooking hash browns and pancakes. What the? Kiba yelled out. Kiba, language, Kurenai said in a scolding manner. How are you guys here and with Zabuza? Sakura asked, stammering out. Shino said in monotone, but his body language told them that he was just as surprised as the group. Kurenai-sensei, do you mind explaining how you got here? Why are you conversing with the enemy, and why is Naruto's cooking smells so good? Kurenai said, whoa, 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 whoa. Too many questions. She then jabbed a thumb at Naruto. Ask this guy. Naruto set the stove on low and answered. The answers are as follows. I went on a one-man army mission after meeting Haku, who gave me a map. Zabuza and Haku will be joining us back to Konoha to become ninja of our village, which will benefit us in the last question. Come on, you don't think I am that helpless, do you? I picked up some skills along the way. Tazuna said, but, they are your enemies, they tried to kill me. Naruto replied, correction, old man, they were our enemies. Gato promised them money for the job, but now I outbidded their offer and hired them. Now that their job is done, they will be joining us. Sasuke scoffed, stop lying for them and move, so I can fight them. We all know that you don't have any money to your name. Naruto chuckled, you are right, Tem, until now, I happened to hack into Gato's mainframe and transferred his money to pay for the A-rank mission for all of us, pay for Zabuza's mission along with Gato's, and the rest in Tazuna's account. Currently I'm the one owning Gato Industries now, and if you are wondering how I got all of your account numbers, I had Kage Bunshin look up your personal accounts to put the money in. Kakashi said, anger evident in his voice. Naruto, you planned this all along. Why didn't you inform us about this plan? I could have you removed for insubordination. Naruto turned to his sensei. Funny, sensei, you said the same thing to Obito, and yet you didn't do a thing about it. Well, kinda, but not the point. Kakashi's eye widened in surprise. How? Naruto continued, the reason, Hitaki, when Haku informed me of Gado's ritual that required 2 virgins in their blood, my condition or sixth sense I call it, told me that it was bad. Also I searched my memory on such rituals and fortunately I did. If you want more information, then you must come with me along with Kurenai and Hinata in private. Sakura said, wait a minute, but why can't we listen? Naruto turned to her, because it involves a SS class secret which will most likely get you executed. Also I don't trust you guys with that information since Kiba has a big mouth. I can't trust Sasuke since he almost tried to burn me alive last time. Shino, I can trust, but I am sure he figured it out already and he needs to keep an eye on you guys just in case you decide to attack Zabuza or vice versa. And Sakura, sorry to say this but I still believe that some part of you still has that fangirl attitude with Sasuke. Kiba protested, I don't have a big mouth. Naruto said, Kiba, you snitched on Shikamaru when he pranked Ino. Kiba blushed and closed his mouth. Naruto said, well, enjoy your breakfast while I will explain to sensei. Sasuke thought, what is this secret that Naruto has? Is it a way to gain some sort of power? I must find out no matter what. Naruto, Kurenai, Hinata, and Kakashi went upstairs, leaving the rest with Zabuza and Haku. So, anybody knows how to play war. Room Kakashi put up a sound barrier just in case Sasuke got curious and decided to eavesdrop. Hinata, I brought you here since you saw that power escape. I trust you the most of all of the people in this house. What I am about to say will never leave this room, alright? Naruto said. Hinata nodded, hi, and Naruto-kun. The Jinchuriki took a deep breath. Remember how the Yondaime died fighting against the Kyuubi? The shy Hyuga nodded again and Naruto replied, the truth is, the Yondaime couldn't defeat it, he had to seal into a baby, newborn, and the lucky bastard was me. Hinata said, oh god, so that's why, that day. Naruto nodded to her, excuse me, but what day are you guys talking about? Kurenai asked. Naruto began, it was my 5th birthday and as usual I was hunted by the villagers for their annual Kyuubi hunting ceremony. When they were finished, someone came, a 4-year-old girl ran up to me timidly and used a handkerchief to clean my bloody face. She seemed unafraid of my appearance. Then she smiled and ran off. Later on the academy, I found out her name. Her name was Hinata Hyuga, princess and heir to the Hyuga clan. Hinata said, smiling warmly, I remember now, you were covered in blood and bruises, tears were streaming down your face. I felt sorry for you and wanted to help you, so I gave you my mother's handkerchief. But Naruto-kun, you keep the Kyuubi at bay. I don't think you are it like those fools. Naruto smiled, thank you, Hinata, and just so you know, I still have that handkerchief, and you stopped stuttering. Hinata blushed and Kakashi interrupted, okay, now can we get on task now? Naruto's smile vanished to replace a scowl on his face, making Kakashi flinch. The Kyuubi and I came to a coexistence, a partnership. She was the one that informed me about the ritual. It makes one a superhuman and inherited a high pain tolerance and only works if a full moon is in effect. I didn't inform you because if I told you about it, you would tell me that Kyuubi was manipulative since you still have a grudge against her, am I right? Kakashi's eye bulged, it is a she. Naruto rolled his eyes, yeah. Now do you understand why? Kakashi said, alright, Naruto. You proved your case. Kurenai said, good, now let's eat. I fear that the genin might try to kill Zabuza. They went downstairs to find Team 8, Team 7, and the Mist Nin with cards playing war. Kiba said, ha, I win. Everyone except Shino and Haku threw their cards on the table. Kurenai smirked, I see, you guys are getting along well. Kiba grinned, yeah, well, the old guy isn't so bad at all. Zabuza had a tick mark appear on his forehead. Oi, puppy, who you calling old? I'm only 30, damn it. Naruto laughed and then turned to Inari. Hey, Inari, remember that promise I made? Inari said, that you would bring Gado's head on a platter. Naruto said, that is the one, look outside. Everyone went outside to see Gado's head on a silver platter on a log a few feet away. Naruto said with a smile, I kept my promise like always. Inari smiled with tears in his eyes, thank you, Naruto ni-chan, thank you. Naruto smiled, listen, Inari, never cry unless you are truly happy. Inari ran and hugged Naruto, causing them both to fall on the ground. 2 weeks later Tazuna said, thank you all for that you have done, we finally finished the bridge and Gado is gone from our lives. Kakashi said, thanks for everything, Tazuna-san. Naruto smiled, I assure you that we will visit you guys sometime. Inari sniffed, you better. Naruto kneeled down to Inari's level, hey, Inari, I want you to protect your mother and grandfather, alright? Naruto reached into his pack and handed him a beautiful handcrafted knife. If anyone threatened you or those precious to you, protect them no matter what. Inari nodded vigorously, hi, Naruto ni-san. Naruto turned to join his team and walked off. Inari started to cry and Sakura glanced at Naruto to see tears flowing down his face. HMPH, damn Gaki. Naruto said. Sakura smiled, you have a good heart, Naruto. I only wish Sasuke-kun was just like you. Tazuna smiled, hey, I finally got a good name for this bridge. Tsunami said, really, what is it, Tu-san? Tazuna looked at Naruto as he said, how about, the Great Naruto Bridge? Tsunami said, a fitting name, Tu-san. This bridge will remind the deeds of the hero of Wave and spread his fame across the lands as he progresses in life. Flashback no jutsu, halt, there's a nuke nin behind you, Kakashi, Kurenai. Azumo said to them. Naruto said, Azumo-san, Kotetsu-san, stand down, Zabuza is currently under our jurisdiction and wishes for him and his son to join the ranks. Azumo and Kotetsu gave Zabuza a glare and Zabuza smiled, which unnerved the two Chunin. Zabuza, behave. Naruto said. Zabuza said, ah, I can't even scare them a little bit. The teams along with Zabuza and Haku walked toward the Hokage's office. Sarutobi said, ah, you're back, but why is Zabuza here? Naruto said, and here, I thought you would be freaking out by now and where is Hiyashi? He should know that Hinata-chan is safe and sound. Sarutobi replied, well, there is Anbu here, me, 2 Jonin and 6 genin against a Jonin and an unknown shinobi. As for Hiyashi, I have no idea why he is not here to see his daughter. Hinata thought, that is because he only cares for my sister, Hanabi, not me, the failure of the Hyuga clan. Naruto looked at her, I know that look, the same look I had 6 years ago, but how I can cheer her up. Yumi said, ask her out on a date. Naruto thought, AAD date, but I don't know what to do on a date and what if she rejects me. Yumi said, just be yourself and be polite, if you are still unsure what to do, then go and ask Iruka or Ayame and trust me, she will not refuse you, Naruto. Naruto nodded mentally, right, I will do that then. Yumi thought, good, maybe he will finally see that she likes him a lot. Sarutobi said, so, Kakashi, you are telling me that Naruto here snuck out in the middle of the night, incapacitated over 100 mercenaries and Gado using explosives, arrows, and other bladed weapons, hacked into his mainframe and now owns Gado Shipping Incorporated. Kakashi nodded in confirmation and Sarutobi turned to Naruto. That was reckless of you, Naruto, why would you do such a thing? You could have been killed. Naruto said calmly, because. Sarutobi-sama, that ritual allows a person to becoming a superhuman and could be done multiple times to increase their strength. Sasuke thought, that ritual may be enough to defeat Itachi, I will get the Dobi to tell me about it. Naruto thought, Luckily I destroyed known evidence in Gado's hideout, the requirement is on a full moon though. I doubt Kurenai and Hinata would know about it since they were locked away. Naruto continued, if I didn't go with my gut, Gado would have the power over the 5 great countries and destroy everyone. Me sacrificing my well-being to save 100 lives is something that I would do over and over again, isn't that what you do, Sarutobi-sama? Kurenai said, Lord Hokage, I know that firsthand that Naruto is stubborn since he knocked me out, but he is willing to sacrifice his life for others. To tell you the truth, he sounds like someone you once knew. Sarutobi had a soft smile, yes, he does sound just like him. Sakura asked, who, Hokage-sama? Sarutobi stared into space and everyone turned to follow his gaze to a particular picture. The Yondaime, he used to be like Naruto in a lot of ways. Kakashi, Kurenai, you two will submit me your reports first thing tomorrow. Zabuza, you will have a month probation since you are a nuke nin from Kiri, the rest of you are dismissed. The genin nodded and walked out of the room. Next, Sasuke called out to Naruto with a demanding tone, hey, Dobi, tell me more about this ritual. Naruto turned to him, what I told the Hokage is all that I know about the ritual, Sasuke. If you even think about using that ritual to get your so-called ambition, I will destroy your ambition and then destroy you. I don't give two shits about your relationship with your brother, but sacrificing innocent lives for that is sickening. Sasuke said, bastard, I need that ritual to kill him and restore the Uchiha honor. Naruto replied, what is the point of your honor if you are going to sacrifice innocent lives for your stupid ambition? You rather have their blood on your hands and on your conscience will make you better, then you will just be like Itachi, Sasuke. Sasuke scowled at him and stalked away, pushing past Team 8, Naruto and Sakura. Sakura thought, okay, now I see why that Naruto doesn't like to deal with him. Now I don't like him at all, willing to sacrifice lives in order to attain power. Kiba said, I really don't like that arrogant prick, you should have kept that electrocuting device on him. Naruto said, yeah, but the council would have a field day and they loves to kiss his as well, except the clan heads. Kiba said, so, what is like, Naruto? Naruto said, I don't follow you, Kiba. The Inazaka said, your first kill, what is it like? Naruto said, my first kill, you feel like you are a monster, but I remembered that they did things that are worse than death and it helped me cope. Sakura said, I can't believe that you killed Gado. The young Uzumaki said, well, technically, I didn't kill him effectively, he was going to die, but he had enough time to drive a killing blow against me. Shino said, so if you didn't kill him, it must have been Kurenai-sensei. Naruto shook his head, no, Shino, remember that I knocked out Kurenai before I went after Gado. The person that killed Gado. He turned to Hinata, was Hinata, while my back was turned, tending to her after she came after me, she reacted to save me from certain death. That reminds me, Hinata, as thanks for saving my life, would you like to go on a date with me tonight? Hinata's eyes widened, and Naruto-kun is asking me out. She was about to faint, but Naruto grabbed her shoulders, oh no, you are not fainting on me, are you Hinata? Hinata woke up and mumbled, I would be honored to go on a date with you, and Naruto-kun. Everyone smiled, well maybe, Hinata can finally say her feelings for Naruto. Naruto said, okay. I will pick you around 6. Hinata nodded, alright. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki thought, good, now I need to ask Iruka and Ayame both for advice. The genin departed away to their homes. Hinata the Hyuga heiress walked to her house slowly. Thoughts of her father's harsh words, her younger sister's sneers, her cousin's glares and the council's cold ridicules rang throughout her head with each agonizing step. The more Hinata thought about it, the more she grew enraged and frustrated at her dysfunctional family. Soon she reached the dreaded place she calls father, was standing in the entrance with his arms crossed and trademark scowl on his face. Hinata bowed, Hi, F father. Hiyashi said with a scowl. You messed up, Hinata. I don't know what to do with you, you always freeze up on missions. You fail at everything you do, and to make matter worse, you can't even beat your younger sister. HMPH, I can't believe that my daughter is a complete failure. Now, like all shy introverts like Hinata, they have a breaking point. You can take so much ridicule until you suddenly snapped and lashed out, just like what Hinata is about to do. Hinata said, "Shut up." Hiyashi looked at her. "Excuse me." Hinata looked up slowly and flashed her Byakugan at her father, startling him for a moment. "I said shut up. I am sick and tired of your incessant blabbing about failure, the fate of the Hyuga clan, and lack of success. For once in your life, can't you ask for once what happened to me? I mean, I just got back with my life and traumatized by my first kill, but you treat your daughter like chess pieces, trying to push a pawn to the battlefield and convert into a queen." Hiyashi scowled. "I am your father, how dare you speak to me like this?" Hinata laughed coldly. "Father? I don't have a father, all I have is a shell trying to masquerade as my father. Half of him died with my mother in childbirth and the rest with my sacrificed uncle. I tried my best to please you, but it seems that it wasn't enough, father. Now if you will excuse me, I will be in my room, Lord Hyuga, planning my date." Hinata walked past her father and went inside towards her room. Unfortunately, her cousin passed by and glared at her, but to his surprise, he flinched at the cold embers in her eyes as she met his gaze. Next, she passed by Hanabi. The younger sister said, well, if it isn't the fail." She never got to finish as Hinata turned around and Jukin bitch slapped her across her face. Hanabi fell to the ground, clutching her cheek as Hinata said coldly, "Listen well, sister, I am not going to be your Lord Hyuga's or the council's bitch anymore. Know your place, dear sister." Hanabi felt something that she could never be able to feel from his former timid sister, an emotion commonly known as fear. As the new Hyuga heiress went inside her room and straight to her closet, picking out her favorite dress, her mother's dress when she first dated Hiyashi. It was a deep indigo with intricate lavender vines in a slit that came up to mid-thigh. She held it up to her body to see that the end of the dress reached up to her ankles. "This time, I will tell my feelings for him," she thought to herself. Naruto breathed out a sigh. "Okay, here we go." He knocked on Iruka's door and in a few minutes, the Chunin opened it. "Naruto. How are you doing and how was the mission?" Naruto said. "Long story short, the mission was a success and we got Kurenai and Hinata-chan back safely, dispose of a corrupt businessman and some hired man. Anyway, I need some dating advice." Iruka said. "Who is the lucky lady?" Naruto answered. "Hinata Hyuga." Iruka inwardly started to hear Hallelujah playing in the back of his mind. It's about goddamn time he noticed her. Iruka said, "Well, the advice I can give you is to be polite, wear something casual, take her somewhere other than Ichiraku ramen, and most importantly, be yourself." Naruto smiled. "Thanks, Iruka-sensei, I owe you one." Iruka returned the smile. "No problem, just give me the details and we are even." Naruto nodded and ran off. "Okay, now from a woman's perspective," he thought as he ran towards his destination. "Hey, Tsuki Oji-san, is Ayame here?" he called out. Tsuki came out. "Yes, hold on a sec. I will get her." The cook went in the back and sure enough, Ayame came out. "Oh, hi, Naruto-kun, do you need something?" Naruto replied, "Yes, I need some dating advice. I am taking Hinata Hyuga out for a date, so I was wondering if you could help it out." Ayame squealed, our best customer's first date, this is so exciting." Naruto's sweat dropped. Why do girls always squeal over something like this? Yumi said, "Don't ask me, I am a demon vixen. I can basically seduce any men and their brains out with a bash of my eyelids." Ayame said, "I recommend going to the Tamara restaurant, the owners are good friends of ours and they have a piano, karaoke and a band in there. Also compliment her looks, Don't curse, major turnoff on girls. Make sure you dance with her and ask her about herself. Women love guys that listen to them, and since I know that you used to play the violin, guitar, and the piano, you can serenade her if you want to. Naruto nodded. Thanks, Ayame-ne-san, I will see you around 6. Ayame asked, why? Naruto shouted back, because I am meeting her here. Hinata, it's 6:45, I am so late, I can't believe that I overslept. Hinata said to herself as she sprayed perfume to walk out the door until Hiyashi opened her room door. His breath hitched as he was reminded of his late beloved, but he regained his composure. Where are you going, Hinata? Hinata answered, out. Hiyashi replied, with whom? Hinata retorted, that is none of your concern. Now if you will excuse me, Lord Hyuga. She moved toward the hallway, but her father clasped his hand on her shoulder. Hinata, I'm your father. He barked at her. She shrugged off his hand. No, like I said, you are a shell of my father. You never acted like one, so why start now? All you care about is the fate of the Hyuga clan. Now if you excuse me, Lord Hyuga, I am late for my date. Hiyashi bristled in anger at his daughter's sudden rebel and a little shred of shame at neglecting her. Neji, follow her and tell me who she is seeing. He ordered. Neji nodded silently, eager to get his cousin in trouble, and slipped away. Ichiraku Ramen Naruto looked at his watch. It's 7:15, I wonder what could hold her up. He was dressed in a casual shirt, black dress shoes and pants. Then Hinata came up and apologized. I'm sorry for being late, Naruto-kun. Naruto his head to one side. Hinata. Is that you? Hinata said. Yes, why? Naruto said, well, for starters, you are not stuttering and you can look me in the eye though you are still blushing. Plus, there is a certain fire burning in your eyes that I have never seen before. Are you okay? Also you look beautiful in that dress tonight. Hinata said, let's just say, I had a recent change of heart this afternoon and thank you. She was going to walk into Ichiraku Ramen until Naruto grabbed her wrist. Nope, our date is not here, we are going somewhere different. Naruto gently tugged her toward their destination. I got a feeling that tonight is gonna be a good night. As they were walking, Naruto whispered, it seems that we have an uninvited guest. Hinata discreetly activated her Byakugan and inwardly groaned, that is my cousin Neji. She said, issues with family? The Jinchuriki asked. Hinata nodded slightly, apparently some people don't like my recent changes. Shall we delay him on spying? Naruto replied, no, if your father wants to figure out if I am a threat to you, then I am sure the two of us can handle it. The couple stopped in front of the Tamara restaurant. We're here, Naruto announced. The Tamara restaurant, nice touch, Naruto-kun. Hinata commented. Naruto smiled, thank you, Hinata-chan. They went inside and Naruto said to the waitress, table for 2 please. The waitress smiled at Naruto and Hinata and led them to a reserved table. Hinata was in awe with her surroundings, a crystal chandelier above each table, a piano and a karaoke machine. This is a nice restaurant, how did you come across this? The Hyuga heiress asked. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki replied, Ayame-ne-san recommended this place to me, and to tell you the truth, it is a nice restaurant. The waitress said, now what would you orders be? Naruto said, I would like a medium rare steak, mashed potatoes along with a side of salad. Hinata said, I would like a baked potato with chive, sour cream and cheese. Also I would like some salmon with, and a side of salad. The waitress nodded and swayed her hips much to Hinata's discomfort, but Naruto paid no attention to her. So are you okay with the killing? Hinata said, no, I wanted to tell Lord Hyuga about my situation, but then he ridiculed me, and when I heard the word failure run from his mouth, I just snapped. I told him what I thought of him without stuttering and looking at him straight in the eyes. The waitress came back and set the food down. Enjoy, you too. She said. Naruto and Hinata ate as Hinata between bites continued her story to the point where she met Neji's glare and basically bitch slapped her arrogant sister. Naruto almost choked at this and laughed. What's so funny? Hinata asked in a demanding tone. Naruto said, it's ironic, your father wanted you to become a cold Hyuga and he just got this wish, but he doesn't like it at all. Hinata said, well, he better get used to it. The shy, stuttering Hinata is only reserved for one person only. Naruto smiled, really? Pray tell who is that person you admire or like so much. Hinata thought, this is it, but before she could open her mouth, some music began to play. Would you like to dance? Naruto said, standing up and offering his hand to her. Hinata took his outstretched hand and the two strode to the dance floor. What are they doing now? Neji thought. He went toward the dance floor and grabbed a random lady to dance with him, but what he didn't know that it was his teammate, Tenten. Naruto placed his right hand on her hip and clasped her right with his left while Hinata placed her left on his shoulder. Then they began to dance and whirled around the dance floor, synchronizing to the harmony and moving to every beat. Neji thought as he danced with Tenten, well, so far, he is in the clear and he is a good dancer. I have not seen against that will make Hiashi have a fit against Lady Hinata. Tenten followed his gaze to see his cousin dancing with a mysterious person. Who is that guy? He is kind of hot and a good dancer. Why is Neji here following Hinata? He literally dislikes Hinata as far as I know, unless he is spying on her. Soon the music ended in a somber tone and Naruto asked, hey, Hinata, do you want to try something more robust? Hinata smirked, of course, I am always willing to try something new, plus maybe it might give Lord Hyuga a heart attack when Neji reports it. Naruto signaled the band and whispered a song, and then he brought Hinata to the middle of the floor. Spanish Tango by James Horner plays, you know, the song in The Mask of Zorro where Antonio Banderas and Catherine Zeta-Jones dance a bit promiscuous. Fine, the link is on my page, so picture them dancing like them, don't OWN. Okay, now that needs to be reported. Neji thought, plus I get the pleasure of seeing Hiashi almost have a heart attack. He looked at Tenten, and I probably have to explain myself to Tenten later on. Tenten gave him a glare, you used me to get your cousin in trouble, didn't you? Now you know what Neji's comeback always involve his favorite word, it was fate that I had to spy on Hinata and fate decreed that you were chosen to dance as my cover, Tenten. I am sorry that it had to be this way. Naruto his head to one side, what is that? Hinata said, it is something that I have been wanting to release from my heart for a long time now. Hinata went to the band to speak with them, the leader of the band nodded and they moved away. The Hyuga heiress went to the piano, feeling all eyes on her. She spoke into the microphone, this is a song for the person that I really admire the most, the only one who actually cared to ask me how I feel about a tragic event in my life. Naruto thought, she's talking about me. I am the person she admires the most, the one she likes. Yumi said, ding, ding, ding. We have a winner, sir. You just won the grand prize, the key to Hinata's heart. Naruto asked, you knew about this? How long have you known about it? Yumi replied, 7 years since she gave you that handkerchief and fend off those bullies when you were 8. Naruto thought back to that day. Flashback no jutsu 7-year-old Hinata knelt down on the floor crying with the local bullies surrounding her. Look at her, I thought Hyugas were supposed to be fearless, but she is a weakling. One of them said, what is wrong? Is the little baby Hyuga gonna cry? Another said, Hinata sniffed as tears threatened to fall again. Hey, the bullies turned to see Naruto in a black t-shirt with indigo shorts. Leave her alone now, Naruto shouted. The leader of the pack said, or what, shortstuff, what are you going to do? Naruto glared, or I will beat you up. You all are insecure if you're going to prey on the defenseless. It proves that you are weak idiots. The older boy said, you little brat. He aimed a punch at Naruto, but the Jinchuriki and swept the older boy's legs from under him. Who's next? Naruto asked. The Hakurai Seiga finally, I updated today. Spoiler alert. I have one phrase about the manga, what the fuck? I can't believe that Kishimoto would do that, having Sakura to say that she likes him to get rid of his promise. Luckily Naruto was not dense to see through her lie. I was about to throw a fit if he believed her for a second. Anyway, review time. Shadow Master Seek thanks for the encouragement. Snake 1980 yes, she will be with Naruto. Agora of the Darkness damn you for being right and glad that you enjoyed the new Hinata. E Delta 88 thanks and lol. Alexa Kata 123 yes, Neji will not be a jerk and no, he will not get with Tenten. Sasuke, maybe if I feel like it. Also I agree, those two were great characters. Ultimate Zelda fan bullshit and lol. Shadows 24 thanks. Vanilla Ice 1 don't worry, Blade will be back and Tenten was not in the shop at the time Naruto met Jin. Naruto sparred often with Haku working on his speed and was learning from Zabuza how to fight with a Zanbeitu. The ex-Miss Jonin felt that since Haku never wanted to learn how to wield one and inherit his legacy, then a person who has killed over 100 people directly and indirectly deserves to do so. Of course, Sasuke bitched about it for a while, but never acted on it because Zabuza would finger Kubikiri Haucho in a menacing way and the container knew that it was only a matter of time until he told the council about it. Naruto, only used to fighting with light weapons, was a bit slow on the uptake and had to use weights on his arms to increase the speed and power of his swings. He was practicing his swings and then came hell. Uzumaki-san, the council would like to request your presence. And Anbu said. Naruto asked, did the Hokage call this meeting, Anbu-san? The Anbu replied, that is classified. Naruto replied, in other words, no, and the council is probably going to bitch about it if I don't go, fine. The Anbu grasped his shoulder and shunshin with him leaf style. Council room Hiyashi Hyuga, Shibi Aburame, Sum Inazaka, Inoichi Yamanaka, Shikaku Nara, Shuza Akamichi, Danzo, Kaharu Udatane, Homura Mitokado and the rest of the civilian council sat amongst themselves, murmuring loudly until the Anbu escort and Naruto came in the middle of the room. Okay, what do you guys want from me? Naruto asked rudely. A fat merchant shouted, you will address with the proper respect we deserved. Naruto replied, respect is earned, not given, fat ass, and so far you have done nothing to earn it, so you CKU, bitch. Only a few people on this council have earned it. Now I ask again, why am I here? Danzo spoke as the leader of the council. We called you here to talk about your recent exploits on the previous mission to Nami no Kuni. Naruto thought, so the Uchiha did bitch about it, huh? Then he replied, well, what do you want to know about? Danzo said, is it true that you hacked Gado's mainframe and transfer money to your account? Naruto said, yeah, what is to you? Kaharu said, then you know that the council is supposed to receive a percentage of the money. The Jinchuriki said, it was already sent, don't try to pull that shit, I don't play with my money. Sum asked, is it also true that you killed over 100 mercenaries by yourself? Naruto nodded, yeah. Homura asked, now who taught you to fight like that? Surely it was not Hatake Kakashi. Nobody has ever seen that taijutsu style. Naruto lied effectively, I was trained by a man when I was attacked by a mob 6 years ago, so I could defend myself from such an event from happening again. Kaharu said, tell us who he is and where he is located. Naruto said, unfortunately I don't know where he went, and when I asked his name, he kept on saying, I'm a blade. One council member on the civilian side said, then you will teach the Uchiha everything you know. Shikaku said, troublesome, you know that he will not agree with it. Naruto said, Nara Dono is right, I won't do it. Another one shouted in outrage, you will do as we say. Naruto said, no, FCKU and fuck your Uchiha. Why should I give Sasuke my style and hard work? What is next? You going to ask the Hyugas to give him their techniques? The Inazakas, the Akamichis, the Yamanakas, Aburames, they are entitled to their unique styles and so am I. No offense to the clan heads for the comparison. The clan heads except Shibi and Hiashi, who both nodded their heads. Naruto turned back to the civilian council. If he wanted to get stronger, tell him to master the jutsu he has got for now, because he is nowhere near Itachi's level. Homura protested, but Uchiha-sama need to get stronger or he will not be satisfied. Naruto replied, "Wow, all of you except the clan heads are pathetic. You have spoiled him to the point if he so much whimpers, you start shoving your head up his. So what if his family got massacred by his brother? I have been on my own since I got kicked out of the orphanage at 4 and you don't see me bitching about my life. Sasuke only wants power and revenge. If he wants to learn from me, he better give up his revenge." The Jinchuriki paused for a second and spoke again, "And another thing, the council is supposed to advise decisions, not order people around." Koharu sneered, "You will do as we say, brat." Naruto retorted as he flipped her off, "Danzo's left testicle, you wrinkled old bitch." Sume stifled a laugh while smirks played over the Inoshika Cho trio. Danzo shouted, "Enough, we have gotten far off track. According to the report, there was a ritual mentioned in it. Can you explain its requirements?" Naruto scowled, "No doubt the Uchiha bitched about that, or you have hidden root spies still." Danzo didn't speak and Shibi said, "It said that ritual provided one person to become a superhuman." Sume said, "Really? That could happen." Shikaku said, "If we knew this ritual, we would be more powerful." Naruto said, "Yes, that could happen, we would be unstoppable, but you would have to sacrifice innocent blood of virgins to get that power, which is exactly Kurenai and Hinata-chan were captured. If I had not gotten in time, they would have died that night and nobody will ever use that ritual again because Gato was the one who had the authentic thing and I burned it along with his body." Danzo said, "If Kurenai and Hinata were unconscious at the time, it means that you are the only one who knows it." Naruto said, "That is correct, but I will not tell it to any of you or use it. I rather die than kill an innocent for power." Koharu said, "Why not?" Naruto turned to her, "Because the council is filled with bigots and power-hungry bastards. Oh, and even if you should order a Yamanaka to enter my mind, you would remember that I have a fox guard inside me and it doesn't take well to intruders. Torture won't work on me either. Enduring 6 years of pain, beatings and various torture methods would never work on me now. That is my solemn word." The clan heads except Hiashi and Shibi smiled while the civilian council and advisors shouted in rage and anger. Danzo said with a sickly smile, "Then maybe we should torture your new friends instead to make you talk." Kunoichi said, "Danzo, that is barbaric of you to think such a thing." The temperature got dangerously low and Naruto tipped his shades to stare at Danzo with cold blue eyes. He smirked as he said coldly, "Try it, bastard, and you will face the unleashing of the Kyuubi." The civilian council and advisors paled in fear as Naruto continued, "I am the only one who can control the Kyuubi due to the Yondaime's seal. Surely you don't want Konoha decimated along with thousands of lives on your heads. I could destroy this city if I wanted to, and the reason that is holding me back is because that there are some good people here, or maybe I could just kill you guys and everyone who has crossed me except the clan heirs, the Hokage and some of the women and children. Plus you can't because you would have the Aburame, Inazaka, Sarutobi and me on your heels." Danzo gritted his teeth, "Damn you, Sarutobi, the boy is too independent now. If I had him en route, this would have never happened." Naruto said with his finger on his chin, "Maybe I should defect to Kumo or Suna, better yet, Iwa. I'm sure that they would welcome my power along with the demon of the mist and his apprentice." Danzo said quickly, "That wouldn't be necessary, Uzumaki, you are free to go." Meeting adjourned. Everyone filed out of the room past Naruto, glaring at him. Sume, Shibi and the original Inoshika Cho nodded at Naruto leaving him and Hiashi facing each other alone. "I am guessing this is the part where you threatened me and tell me to stay away from your daughter, nay?" Naruto said. The Hyuga head replied, "You saved my daughter's life, I am grateful, so I will tolerate you for the moment, but you will lose control to it and prove that you are dangerous. Naruto replied coolly, are you so sure, Hiyashi-sama? Do you doubt the ceiling of the Yondaime? I have not lost control in 12 years, what makes you so sure now? Hiyashi said, let's not think about that, what I would do to you. Naruto said, don't you mean can't? After all, I would have the Kyuubi's power at my disposal and could easily destroy you, nay. Hiyashi said, just don't hurt her. Naruto said as he walked out, oh, I won't do that, unlike you. Word of advice, if you want her to not isolate you, you best start kissing up real good. Courtyard. Naruto was walking back to his home until he had the strange feeling that he was being followed. He whipped around, pulling out of his cloak a mini crossbow. Looks like a miniature version of Van Helsing's crossbow. This idea was recommended and owned by Snake 1980, aiming at a square rock. The Jinchuriki sighed, okay, Konohamaru, come out, and your friends too. I can sense your chakra signatures. Billows of smoke came out from under the rock and there were fits of coughing. Konohamaru said, Udon, you used too much gunpowder. Udon shot back, don't blame me, Moegi knocked most of the bombs out of my hand. The smoke cleared to reveal the Konohamaru core. What's with the shades? I thought you wanted to create your own image, not copy mine. Naruto said with a raised eyebrow. I do, but until I make Genin, wanna play ninja with us? Naruto said, sure, my sensei won't show for 2 hours anyway, I got time to kill. Then Sakura came up and greeted Naruto, oh, hi, Naruto, who are these three here? The Jinchuriki said, introducing the academy students, these are my friends Moegi, Konohamaru and Udon. Konohamaru asked, oi, Naruto, is she your girlfriend? Sakura blushed a bit as Naruto replied, well, Sakura is a girl and she is a friend, so in that way, yes. Relationship-wise, I don't know, it is up to her and time. Konohamaru nodded and turned to Sakura, got ya, so Sakura, would you like to play ninja with us? Sakura smiled, sure, I will play with you guys. Konohamaru smiled and he along with his friends ran while Naruto and Sakura chased them. When Konohamaru veered around the corner, he crashed into someone hard. OWW, that hurt. A masculine voice said. The honorable grandson looked up to see a 13-year-old boy wearing a cat-like suit and purple makeup. Ahem, excuse me, I mean purple war paint along with a blonde 4-pig-tailed girl. She was not fat, but a little thick with some muscle and had a giant iron fan strapped to her back. Hey, I would Tamari. You can't lie, she is hot. The boy grabbed Konohamaru by the scruff of his shirt tightly. That hurt, you little shitstain. The girl said, don't, Kankuro, we will get in trouble. Naruto said, oi, put him down now. Kankuro replied, you. Then the blonde teen appeared behind him with a glaive near his precious and one of his crossbows at his neck. Wasn't asking, bitch. Now be a good little kitty and put him down gently and slowly. Kankuro gulped and did as he was instructed. Naruto said, good kitty, even a boy who wears his sister's makeup can understand simple commands. Now I am assuming that you are here for the Chunin exams. The girl nodded, we are. I'm Tamari no Sabaku and you already met Kankuro. Naruto replied, Uzumaki Naruto and the girl is my teammate Sakura Haruno. The pretty boy in the tree is Sasuke Uchiha, so I assume that you know the one with the gourd on his back as your third teammate. Everyone including Tamari and Kankuro looked up to see Sasuke with his ever-present scowl on his face along with the red-haired boy hanging upside down. Gee Gaara, Kankuro said, paling in fear. Gaara crossed his arms, Kankuro, what did I say? Kankuro answered, not to get involved. Gaara shunshin down in a swirl of sand to appear beside Tamari, good, now I advise you not to do it again or I'll kill you. Naruto sheathed his glaive and crossbow while Sasuke jumped down. Gaara said, sorry to cause you such a ruckus. I look forward to fighting you too. Uchiha Sasuke, Uzumaki Naruto. The three Suna nins walked away while Naruto sent the kids home for the day. Then Team 7 left, but Naruto stopped to stare by tipping his shades at another tree for a moment and then continued walking. After they left, another trio of ninja dropped to the ground, shaking in fear. Those eyes of his, he's dangerous, we must avoid him at all costs or we'll be killed. The bandaged one said. 2 hours later Sasuke said, so the Chunin exams are a week from now. Kakashi nodded, yep, all of the rookie teams will be there, so I want you three to train for the week. We will not be taking any missions until after the exams are over. Well, Yane. After Kakashi poofed away, Sasuke walked off, eager to train and fight strong ninjas such as Gaara while Naruto asked, hey, Sakura, are you okay? Sakura said, I'm fine. Naruto replied, are you sure? Because normally this is usually the time you go and ask Sasuke for a date or something. Sakura replied, after when Sasuke asked about that ritual thing, it kinda turned my affection for him off. So I was wondering if you have a scroll with jutsu or a training regiment that I can follow. Naruto smiled, I see that you're serious, very well. He reached inside his cloak and gave her a scroll. I wrote this in case you wanted to get stronger. There is a training schedule, 1 B ranked jutsu, and a few C ranked jutsu. I prefer that you learn the C rank for the Chunin exam. Your chakra capacity is very low so you won't be able to perform it. Sakura said, Arigoto, Naruto. Then she ran off and Naruto thought, I better prepare for the exam too, since Gaara is a Jinchuriki as well. Thanks, Yumi-sensei. Yumi replied, you're welcome, just be sure to find a seal master to help you with his seal. That damn priest must be jacking with Kaisei's mind. A week later Team 7 arrived at the academy to see a weird bull-haired kid get knocked down by 2 older genin. Tenten moved to help him up, please, just let us through. One of the genin guarding the door said, hey, we are saving your asses from the Chunin exams, we know what it's like since we failed in 3 times. Then Sasuke arrogantly said, for someone who failed the exam, you sure know how to put genjutsu up very well. Drop it, I got business on the 3rd floor. Naruto sighed, slapping his hand on his head, the genjutsu was to fool the idiots who couldn't see through it and rule out the weaklings. Now you just made it harder for all of us. The bull-haired kid along with Tenten and Neji approached them. Hi, I'm Rock Lee, would you like to go out on a date with me? I'll protect you with my life. Lee said. Sakura said, that's sweet and all, but I am not looking for a relationship right now. Tenten winked at Naruto, who smirked at this. Neji scowled at him and Naruto turned to him, tipping his shades to make Neji flinch at his cold azure eyes, if you try anything with Hinata-chan, I will make sure that you will never see the sun again. Neji moved back and Team 7 walked upstairs, then Lee and Tenten followed with Neji a few feet behind. His eyes, was he serious? No, I'm a genius, plus it is his fate to be a loser and failure in life. Neji thought to himself, but he couldn't shake the feeling that Naruto would carry out his word. So, Sakura did come after all. Kakashi said, what do you mean? She asked her sensei. If you or your teammates came without each other, then I would have to bar you guys from the exams. Naruto said, why did you tell us this sooner? Kakashi replied, because one of you Kausasuke Temaka would have pressured her to take it. Naruto said, logical explanation, but that person must learn that teamwork is the key to victory. Kakashi said, right, anyway give them hell and protect one another. Kakashi moved from the door and Naruto flourished his trenchcoat, time to screw people over royally. The Jinchuriki kicked the door open and everyone turned their heads to see Team 7. The y'all looking at, never seen a shinobi before. The ninjas glared at them, focusing their killing intent on him, but the blade smirked as he drew his and Yumi's killing intent to blast them, making them quake in fear. Suddenly Sasuke was glomped by Ino. Sasuke-kun, I was so lonely, it must have been unbearable with forehead on the team.